The documents that you work on in Illustrator are referred to as artboards, and Illustrator has the ability to contain more than one artboard in a single document. This is a great feature that can be used for multiple applications. In this video, I'll show you how to create multiple iterations of a logo using multiple artboards in Illustrator. So I'm beginning with the artboards.ai file already open on my computer. And as you can see, this is a logo that's positioned in the middle of this artboard that is currently about 10 inches by 10 inches. Now, the first trick to working with artboards is this artboards tool over here in your tools panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this artboard tool, and you'll immediately notice that we now have handles around every corner and every side of the artboard. So the most obvious thing that we can do with this tool is we can grab these handles and we can change the overall size of our artboard. Now we can do this manually by dragging the handles. You'll notice that if you click on the artboard, you're actually moving the artboard as a whole. But you can also drag the handles. And if you want to be more precise, up here in your control panel, you could specify not only the X and Y coordinates of where the artboard is positioned, but you can also specify the overall size. So why don't we round this to a nice even number. I'm going to change the width to 9 inches and the height to 5 inches. And that looks pretty good. You'll also notice that when I make those transformations, that it is honoring the reference point. So right now, the reference point is set to the dead center, so when I make changes, everything happens based on the dead center of the artboard. So that's pretty nice. Now the other thing is, when I have the artboard tool active, I can quickly change the name of the artboard right here. So let's call this one Badlands Orange. So this will be the version of the orange logo. Now this option right up here is pretty important because this button is currently enabled, and that button allows me to move/copy the artwork with the artboard. Now let me show you what that does. I'm going to hold down the space bar on my keyboard so I can just kind of move my artboard over a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is hold down the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on Windows, and I'm going to drag this artboard to the right. And when I have a little bit of space between the two, I'm going to let go of the mouse, and you'll notice that it makes a complete copy of not only the artboard, but also the artwork on the artboard. So that's a pretty handy feature because I immediately have now two versions of my artwork. So what we could do here is I'm going to switch back to my selection tool, and these are now completely independent of one another. So let's click on this Badlands Racing Team paths using my selection tool, and I'm going to come up here to my swatches panel. I'm just going to pick another color. Let's go with maybe like a lime green or something like that. We can see now that we have a new iteration of the logo. And what I'm going to do here is go back to my artboard, and let's change the name of this. Instead of Badlands Orange, let's change that to Badlands Lime. That looks good. Now we'll go back to our selection tool, and now we can see that we have two versions of our logo. Now, the other thing that goes along with our artboards and the artboard tool is the artboards panel that is located down here at the bottom of our panel dock. If for whatever reason you're not seeing it on your screen, simply go to your window menu and choose Artboards, and that'll open the panel and display it if it's not already active. So we can see that in the Artboards panel we have two different artboards, and we can change the name of the artboard here. If I double click on it, it will allow me to change the name. But if I double click on an area that's not in text, it's going to activate that artboard, which is pretty cool. Now in addition, if you click on this icon to the right of each artboard, that'll display your artboard options. And this allows you to control a lot of the things that we can do over here, as well as in here. So you can see that the artboard options, if I didn't want to change it here, I could open this dialog, and I can choose to show different options, change the orientation, size, so on and so forth. I can also choose to show the center mark, the crosshairs. You can see these crosshairs showing up here. Notice the center mark appears right here in the middle. And the video safe areas, in case you're doing video, it'll show you those safe areas within that artboard. Now, I really don't need any of those options right now, so I'm going to leave those unchecked, and we can go ahead and click OK. Take note, too, that you can, if you wish, delete the artboard from here as well. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And then if you wanted to delete the artboard, you could also do that from within the artboards panel. Right here is your trash can to delete the artboard. Now, in addition, you can kind of change the orientation here. You can click on the Badlands Lime, and I can click the up arrow, and that'll kind of slide it up to be artboard number 1. I'm going to just zoom out by using Command- on Mac and Control- on Windows, and now we can see that we still have the artboards in their position, but technically the Badlands Lime is the first artboard within the document. Now, in addition, I'm going to go ahead and press Command-0 on Mac or Control-0 on Windows so I can fit one of my artboards to my window. It really doesn't matter which one. If you want to change it, just double-click on the area to make the other one active. In addition, if we go to the View menu and come down to Rulers and choose Show Rulers, our rulers essentially look the same as they always have. You know, we have our global rulers. The 0, coordinate is in the upper left corner, and the rulers extend. If I just kind of scroll over, you can see that the rulers extend across both artboards. Now, in addition, we do have artboard rulers. So if you go to the View menu and go down to Rulers, you can change to Global Rulers, which is what we have here. And if you go to View Rulers, you can say Change to Artboard Rulers, and that kind of changes the reference point of where those rulers are applied. Now, in addition, another benefit to these artboards is when you need to, say, export these to a different format. So, for example, if I go to the File menu and choose Export, you'll notice that we can choose from a number of different options. And one of those options might be PNG or JPEG if you need to send these as images to somebody. But what we can also do is we can hit Cancel. We can go to File, Save As, and change this to Adobe PDF. Whether you're exporting or whether you're saving, notice that we have this Use Artboards checkbox that automatically gets invoked in this case. So if I were to want to create a PDF file, I could create a PDF of only one of the artboards, or I can choose all of the artboards, and this will generate a PDF with each artboard as its own page. And this can be very handy when you're trying to get approval from a client or show somebody different iterations of your logo or artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Cancel. Going to go ahead and close the Artboards panel. And so you can see that utilizing multiple artboards in Illustrator can help to keep you organized and save you time and effort by managing multiple pieces of artwork in one place. The next time you have a project that requires multiple versions, consider creating additional artboards in your Illustrator document, and I think you'll be glad that you did.